gimmicks. They say I'm too Christian, I don't ruin the image. Covered in the blood, whole lot of rad demons coming for my head. But I treat it like a flag. You can't tell me I ain't blessed. No. I ain't need a private jet. Tell me I'm a lag. No.
Heard they wanna cancel me, dog. I could care less.
No. Saying only God could judge me, but I be stressed. No.
Can't tell me that I ain't really there. Talking like my nervous mental took off like a missile. When God told me go sick of me, pulling the strings like a fiddle. It's nothing but dogs in my kennel. We go get the chicken and chew through the gristle. I'm covered in grace like a Thanksgiving dinner. My verses is cold as Canadian winter. If I kill the beat, do that make me a sinner? Thou shalt not let their opinions offend you. Mine is the vigilante. I ain't worried about villains.
Good evening, everyone.
I just pray for the kids like a baby.
Take a couple of minutes to get settled. We'll give it about 2 more minutes. So as before, grab your water, grab your pen, your notebook, and let's get ready and grounded for our class tonight. And welcome.
Heard they wanna cancel me, dog. I could care less. It could be worse. It could be worse.
Yeah, I hit the gym, just opened up again. Reza, he loaded me up with 2 plates. Then I went home, baby, she made me a meal. She loaded me up with 2 plates. Jump on a whip, registered that in GA. I had to go get me new plates. I just bought a crib, had to move out of New York. I'm really enjoying the space. Jump on a stick, pray that I don't gotta use it, but I got it there just in case. You know what it is. People be talking online, but never say that to my face. Look at my wrist, ain't nothing on it just yet. Everything got its time and its place. If they throw a fit, when you tell them no, that's how you know they ain't respect you off rip. Man, it's a trip. But hey, it could be worse. Say it again for them in the back so they know for sure it could be worse. And life is hard, I thank God, it could be worse. Life is hard, I thank God, it could be worse. Way worse.
Once again, good evening. We're all getting settled, getting grounded, grabbing our water, grabbing our snacks, getting our notebook, our pad, and getting ready to start. So in about 2 more minutes, we will launch off. So 6:35 will be the start date. Start time. Good evening and welcome.
Trying to make sure that it's not me, man. Whole life been agony, man. How I'ma run when temptation come, it got me, man. But hey, it could be worse. It could be worse. Life is hard. It could be worse. Life is hard. I thank God it could be worse. Way worse.
Love that he called me up and told me that he met this beautiful girl. And
Once again, 1 more minute to grab water, a snack, get grounded, quiet place, have your lighting fixed so we can see your beautiful faces. And we'll get started in 1 minute. 1 minute.
Look, I was the one in them classes, youngin' but making it happen. 2 up, 2 down in Manhattan. Never had Gucci or Louis Dior, but this music, I swear that I did it in fashion. Don't gotta rush, I got hours in this, and you know that I'm really about action. Can't believe that they counted me out, now we running them numbers just like how I knew it would happen. Don't gotta cat to be fitted, pay for whatever I'm living. When I die, put my name with the best of them, just to inspire the rest of my city. They don't know what we had to endure. Youngin' was sleeping on floors, went to all states, but I had us insured. Rapping that boys and girl club on the tour. Around the same time, parents got a divorce. Honestly, what really made me mature? We had to pick lots just to get to the door. They hate and say Diddy, they know I'm a bad boy. I've been on since I was 16. They was hot, they been losing they steam. I was quiet, she thought I was shy. Went from watching the throne to being the king. Yeah, came from the bottom, yeah. I paid the price, they couldn't afford it. Yeah, I had to build from the ground. I never could let them.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Good evening. Once again, it is so good to be here with you. This is Professor Rainey, Facilitator Rainey, Miss Rainey. It is so great to see you all again. We are going to get started with just some really great information tonight and continue our dialogue around business, entrepreneurship, your business, why you want to start your business. We'll talk a little bit about our elevator pitch and get ready for the next level of this coursework that you'll be journeying on. But for now, I'm going to turn it over to Professor Jay, who's going to have us all complete a quick poll. Is that right, Professor Jay?
Yep.
Okay.
So I just dropped it in the chat. You guys should see the link for the pre-test. Go ahead and click in, and we'll go through this pre-test. So kicking it off, what is a mentee? I see a couple folks already jumped in there. All right, going on to the next one. Offer constructive criticism in a supportive way. So you would choose which one is this. You can kind of go both ways, can it, sometimes? All right, for the next one, here we go. All right, take proactive ownership of their career plans and professional development. So who's taking proactive ownership of their career plans and professional development? You guys are fast. All right. Focus on general goals and objects that has fast career development. Some folks are thinking about it. All right. What is an elevator pitch? So you got three options here: detailed persuasive speech that you use to spark interest in what your organization does, a brief persuasive speech that you use to spark interest in what your organization does, or a brief demonstrative speech that you use to spark interest in what your organization does. Well, folks changing their answers. All right. All right, true or false? You can use your elevator pitch to promote yourself. You guys can just go with your first thought, what comes to your mind. All right. I think it's the first slide that's a unanimous decision here. All right, thanks everyone. That wraps it up. For anyone that came in after, I think maybe one or two people came in just now. We'll get you on the back end, so we'll have this at the end of class as well. All right, I'll hand it over to you, Miss Rainey.
Thank you, JR, Professor J. Appreciate you. Okay, so good evening, everyone. We are going to get started right now. Again, so glad you're here. Just a couple of housekeeping items right off the bat. I'll share my contact information again later, but just make sure that your cameras are on, mics are off mute if you're in a quiet place. Ask questions, lots of great questions last class. So please keep that energy up. And for some of you who we did not hear from, we definitely want to hear from you. Remember, this experience is for you. And so you have a plethora of experience here with myself, Professor J, Professor Rosie, Miss C is going to be joining again. So don't be shy as it relates to asking questions. The only thing I'd like to share is just to make sure that it's on topic with where we are. And if you have specific, unique questions specific to your circumstance, please defer those questions until either the end of the class, or we do again have that Q&A hour for you, that time where we can ask and talk one-on-one with you beginning at 8 p.m. And what I put in here too is just a reminder about things that you still might be wondering about that we're not going to talk about today, because Professor J talked about it last week in terms of your vision mission statement, your P&L statements. We're going to review the value model and the business model canvas once again, but we're not going to spend a lot of time because we do need to move on. However, if you have any residual questions, let's go ahead and take care of those at the end of the class, or please stay back like some of the other your students and ask questions. One of the things we talked about a lot in the last class was the why behind why you're doing what you're doing. And we talked a little bit about why it's important for you to have a why bigger than just money or a surface level answer. So tonight we're going to go back to talking about this very briefly, why starting your own business, and having you complete the 7 levels deep exercise. We're going to quickly review the business model canvas, review the value proposition canvas. We're going to go deeper into talking about the importance of finding a mentor and some of the characteristics of a mentor. And also, what is your role as a mentee, right? Because it's a handshake sort of relationship where you're working in concert with your mentor, but there's a way to get the most out of that relationship. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And then tonight, we're going to talk I'm really excited about, we're going to touch on just some aspects of preparing for your elevator pitch. We'll talk about what that is, and then starting to put all the pieces together. So your vision statement, your mission statement, and we'll do an intro to that. You will have one full class on doing your elevator pitch, but this will just be an intro so you can start to think about it a little bit more. And again, just a huge reminder, as I shared before, please make sure that your elevator pitch is on your calendar for April 9th at 6:30 p.m. So that's going to be a great time for us to get together and share. So what I want you to do is we're going to go ahead and go into the 7 levels deep exercise. And I'm going to pull this up really quickly. We did upload it to the classroom, but I want to take a look at it with you together. So part of one of the things that I asked you to do, and we talked about this a lot on Tuesday, was to think about the why behind the what. In this document, there is an example, right? So again, we talked about the example of someone saying, well, I want to make more money. That's what I want to get out of this, right? And then you go, well, why, right? Because there's different ways to make money, right? You don't have to become a business owner to make money. You can be doing other things, right? You could be working, at a full-time job. You can have 2 full-time jobs, right? There's other things you can do, but why do you want to start a business? So is it to make more money? Really? And so to begin to think about that, well, yeah, I want to make more money, but why is it important for me to make more money? And in this example, the person stated, well, I just really want to get out of debt. Then again, we ask the question why. So the 7 levels is asking yourself why, because as we talked about, there's going to be some times that might be that will be rough. I'll be honest with you. And you're going to have a deeper why than I want to make more money, right? Because otherwise you'll stop, you'll quit, you'll do something else. But if you have a why bigger than you, and we talked a lot about being loving your customer and being service oriented and providing an excellent or an outstanding product, not a good product or service, but an excellent or an outstanding product, and how competitive the marketplace is, you're really going to have to think about your why, right? And so again, this person said, I want to make more money, right? I want to get out of debt. The next level is why. Why do you want to get out of debt? Well, I want to stop working so hard to pay someone else, right? And then again, why? Why do you want to stop working so hard? The person said, well, because I want to do things in my life with the fruits of my labor. And so, again, going a level deep. And so again, why is it important for you to do things in your life? And the person answered, well, to take care of my mother who is widowed and needs help. Then going another level deep was, well, specifically, why is it important for you to take care of your mother? And the person stated, well, because she sacrificed everything to send me to college, and I want to make sure she is taken care of in her golden years. And then the last level is, why is it important for you to take care of your mother? And the person stated, because I want to be in control of my life so that I can help those around me. And then the person put in parentheses, who can't help themselves, know that they are precious, worthy, and loved. And that's the real why. That's the real driver. So when times get rough and people quit, or, a product or service doesn't work, or, something is, maybe there's a sales issue, maybe there's a money issue, maybe there's an employee issue, maybe there's a time issue, you can push through, because your real why at this point, or this person's real why at this point, is they just really want to be in control of their life so they can help those around them who can't help themselves. So we're going to take a couple of minutes. We're going to go into breakouts. And if you didn't get a chance to do your homework, we're going to go ahead and go into this exercise. So I'm going to ask Miss Rosie to help me with breaking you up. Whoops, you said you're not seeing my screen. Uh-oh.
I did it already, Rainey, so we're all
Okay.
set whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Okay. So you're going to break out into groups, and you're going to take about 6 minutes. So you'll be in groups of 3 or 4. Take about 1 or 2 minutes each. So if you've already done your 7 levels deep, you want to go ahead and exercise on Tuesday, then you want to share what you've already done. If you haven't done it, now's the time to begin to say it out loud and then begin to write it in that document. Okay. So Ms. Rosie, what do we do next?
I'm going to open up the breakout rooms, Miss Rainey. It's
Perfect.
Latoya. I'm going to open them.
Oh, thank you.
Sure. Zin, are you able to click on the join button for the breakout room?
Sorry, I'm like multitasking. I'm trying to figure out how to get on to Google Classroom, because I can't really do it on my phone. It's not wide enough for me to be able to see everything. So I'm trying to do it on my computer. But
okay, we can also Rainey, if I can bring it up on Google Classroom and we can actually share it into the breakout rooms for those who can't access it.
Oh, it's not that I can't access it. I just need a class code. It says that the teacher is supposed to give me a code to be able to get into it. So that's really all I need.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you couldn't see it. Okay, we're gonna put the class code in the chat for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you click the link to get into the breakout room though? We'll make sure you.
Okay. Is there a link that I'm supposed to like click on or?
Oh yeah, it should have
Oh,
showed up earlier.
thing.
Can you not see it? Hold on one second. Okay, don't click on it just yet. You'll see something come up, but don't click on it just yet. And then all right, click on join now if you saw something pop up. Okay, I think we got it because she froze. So that must mean she's, yeah, she's good. Okay.
I want to so what I want to like do in terms of business is like to start my own company, which is based and related and based to as a technology and as a artificial body parts because reason why is because a lot of people have been getting sick lately in some cases like pretty severe to the point that certain parts of their organs stop functioning as they should. So my plan is to start like a company that starts distributing let's see artificial organs and body parts to those who cannot get them, like from such as donations and so on. And not only to make a lot of money from that, but also to save a lot of lives. And not only having to rely on donors as well. What I'll do with the money is I would use some of that most of that money into my company to hopefully expand that so more people could get that to get access to that messy treatment, and also and then some of that money will go to myself and my family because my family has been struggling both in like health and financially, and I care about them because like they raised me to the person who I am today, and if it weren't for them, I don't think I would be here right now.
Noah, thank you so much. Was that last statement that you shared, was that your bottom line why?
Yes.
It was. Yeah, yeah. And that's fire, right? That's gonna help you push through, right? I mentioned to you all before that, last month I had some serious health challenges. I had the flu. I was in the hospital. Like it was a bunch of stuff going on, and I quite frankly, if it was for money, I would have just said, I don't care. I mean, I really just didn't care because I wasn't feeling well, right? And so, but my why was bigger than me. So I was able to not necessarily maybe perform at the level that I wanted to, but it really pushed me to get out of bed, get myself together, and give my all because it was bigger than just making a buck. Noah, that is beautiful. And I think that if you continue, and I want you all to continue to use this document because it's not only in business, it's also in life. Why am I going to this college, right? Why am I going for this specific job, right? It's a great way to be able to quantify what you're doing. I love what Micah says. Micah says, my why is to make my mom proud and make her happy because I know she is looking down on me and watching over me. Beautiful, Micah. Yeah, beautiful. Anyone else want to share before we move on? Beautiful. Thank you, Micah. Wow.
Yeah. Um, I I want to become successful to make money. And the reason why I want to make money is because I want to take care of my family and friends. It is important for me to do this because I want my loved ones to be financially stable. I honestly want them to be financially stable so that they don't have to work so hard. It is because my family have worked hard all their lives, and I want to help make our lives a little easier. I want to give my friends and family the credit that they deserve for making me who I am today. And because without my incredible friends and family, and without the help of my incredible and amazing friends and family who are very supportive, I wouldn't have a successful soul food restaurant.
Love it, Shania, love it, and it's in you, right? It's in your gut as to why you're doing what you're going to do, because we talked about most businesses go out of business within the first 5 years, right? And there'll be lots of tough times. There's going to be great times, of course, but there'll be times that you'll have to push through. There'll be times as a solopreneur, especially if you're starting out by yourself, that it's just you. And there's no one to lean on. You are the rock. You are the person who is doing this on your own, and no one understands what it's like to own a business, because maybe, like Shania, you said that you had generations of people in your family that have been business owners, but many of us, mine didn't, I didn't have that. So when I said I was starting my own business, they didn't understand, because they're used to going to work 9 to 5. That doesn't make them bad people. They just don't understand. So that means me as a Lone Ranger, you as a Lone Ranger, you're the person that's going to be striking out. And so, I want you to think about that, because sometimes we put pressure on our families to understand. You've got to understand what I'm doing, and oh my gosh, and da da da, and they're nowhere to be found, right? And they're like, you're crazy, right? And there's a saying by one of my there's a book that I've read, and it's a whole thing that I'm doing on YouTube, and it's about being worthy. And one of the things that she says, the person's name is Jamie Kern Lima, and she wrote a book called Worthy. One of the things that she says that resonates with me, that will probably resonate with you, is that you're not crazy, you're just first. So you might be the first one in your family starting a part-time business while going to school, meeting with bankers at age 17 and 18, and everyone else around you is going, what are you doing? Like, you're nuts. Why are you not doing what everyone else is doing? But you are the trendsetter. You might be the generation changer in your family. You're the one that's going to change the course of future generations. And we can't necessarily understand. I mean, we can't necessarily put that pressure on our family to understand, right? Love our families, but we're going to have to choose our own path, and we're going to have to choose our own peers and mentors to help us along the way. One last share, and I see it's Athos. Thank you so much, Athos. Go ahead, go for it, my friend.
It's not that I have something particularly like good to share. It's more that I feel like some people might connect with it more. It's that I don't really have a really deep or good answer as for now. And all that I put was like, I want to have a better life. I want to make more money so I can grow as a person and increase my, my quality of life and how much I can make of it. And maybe for now, it's just that I haven't dug deep enough to find an answer. But, if more people are like that, then it's for the better, like that they know that they're not alone, right? That they're not the only ones who think they're too shallow, or, maybe they're not like up for it. I just thought that people could connect maybe.
Yeah. Well, and just remember, we're in a class where we're giving you lots of information. We gave you 6 minutes. You had a couple of minutes to think about it between Tuesday and now. So, give yourself some grace and know that you're not it may not come to you that easy, and that's okay. But you said something that I would love for you to go deeper with on your own time, which is, I want to have a better quality of life. What does that mean for Athos? What does that mean? Does it mean that you want to be able to have more things? Does it mean that you want to be able to hire a personal trainer and focus on your fitness and health? Does that mean that you want to have more time? What does that mean? So that's the next layer in my mind for you, Athos, is to say, what does a quality of life mean? And then I think that will take you on the next part of your journey answering this question.
That's really good. Thank you. I'm gonna note that down.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
And everyone, if there's someone else going, I don't have an answer, or I was just kind of shell shocked. That's okay. It's okay. But I do want you to think about it. I do. It's very important. If there's nothing else that you leave with what I said over the last 2 days, really think about that. Really think about that. All right. Well, let's move on. We're going to keep going with respect to the next part of what we're doing here. So moving on back to the PowerPoint. Okay. All right, here we go. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we see
Oh,
your email.
you see my email? My email? You don't see the presentation?
No, not right now.
Ooh. Well, I don't want y'all seeing my email. That's too much of my business. Hang on, y'all. Okay, here we go. All right, there we go. Yes?
Yes, we can see your
Okay,
screen.
perfect. Thank you. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in my email. Nobody wants to see that stuff. All right, so we shared a little bit about our 7 levels. Thank you for that, Professor Rosie. Toya, excuse me. Okay, so once again, continue on with that exercise. Let's go right into reviewing the business model canvas, which we talked about. It's been talked about several times by Professor Jay last week. I talked a little bit about it on Tuesday, but I want us to go a little bit deeper to look at this model. This information is in your classroom. So again, if you don't have access to your classroom, you're having technical issues, hang back until at 8 o'clock and let us help you make sure that you're able to get into your classroom, because all of these documents are going to live there. Okay, they won't be emailed because it's just too much to email. So the business model canvas, remember, we started to talk about S.O.A.R as an example, and we started to look at this in terms of an example of how S.O.A.R sort of outlines their business model, right? And when online, and I'm not going to go there because again, this is a review, these specific key areas are things that you should be thinking about and writing as part of your business plan, which we're going to talk about, right? That you're going to present. And these are things that you should be thinking about. So S.O.A.R, we talked about, or when you looked at this online, and again, this is just a review, the first thing that they did, if you look at to the right, you'll see the customer segment. So they defined who is my target audience. Remember, we talked about that on Tuesday, right? You don't want to boil the ocean, right? Right? It's their customer segment. That all the clothing and the merchandise that they offer is to men, women, and children. You don't see animals, right? You don't see anything that's not meaningful. So that's the first thing that you should be thinking about. Who is my target audience? Number 2, we talked about this, and we're going to talk about it just a little bit more, is what is my value prop? So when you go into S.O.A.R, they have fashionable clothes, accessories. I don't shop at S.O.A.R, as I mentioned, because I can't even fit anything in there. But anyway, they have a great e-commerce experience. I know this because my daughter shops there. They have a great flagship store experience, and a flagship store means that the first store that they ever opened, any store that opens a company that opens its first retail store ever is called their flagship store. So for example, Macy's on 34th Street in New York is a flagship store. It's the first Macy's that was opened and probably the last one that will ever close. Gosh forbid Macy's goes out of business. And so that's why when you go there, you get this wow experience versus if you go to Bridgewater Mall, right? So you have a great flagship store experience, fast fashion, right? So that's the second thing. What is my value prop? What am I offering to my customer? Third is, and Shania had some great questions about this. How am I going to get this to my customer? How do I distribute it? How do they know that I have these things available? Well, S.O.A.R has stores, they have online, they use social media, so forth and so on. So when you're thinking about your business, you want to think about how am I going to get the word out? Because as I mentioned before, you could have the best product or service, but if only you and your mother know about it, you're not going to make any money, right? And of course, your family will be maybe your first purchasers, but they're not going to sustain you, right? They're going to buy it something from you because they love you, but they're not your ultimate customer, right? And they're also not the channel that you're going to be using, which is squeezing the life out of your family, going, buy this, buy this, buy this, right? So after you determine what your channel is and how you're going to get the word out, you're then going to go to step number 4. And notice that these are all numbered, right? So you'll see that when you go to the website, if you haven't gone there already, because this is a screenshot from the website. S.O.A.R customer relationships, they have salespeople in the store. So how are they going to build relationships with their customers, right? Remember, we talked about falling in love with your customer, knowing what your customer needs, under promising and over delivering, right? And you're going to do that through many ways. S.O.A.R does it through sentimental attachment to clothing and accessories, social media, so forth and so on. Next part of this is revenue streams. So the way that they make money or bring money in is through the sales of their clothing and accessories. That is the primary way that they make money. And so you're going to be thinking about what are some ways, which if you think about it this way, they have their distribution channels. So their direct store, they sell things online, social media, and from those channels, those distribution channels, they sell their clothing and accessories, and that's how they bring in primarily their revenue. That's how they bring in their money. And that's going to be very, very key. And you have to really give that some attention, because we also talked a little bit about how, it seems like everyone is doing all these different things. And you might be tempted to pivot and go, oh, squirrel, right? Oh, shiny keys. Oh, wait, this person's doing this. I should. No, that may not be true, and probably isn't true for you based on the business that you're going to provide, especially if you're going to open actual store, which is like what Janaya is talking about, and Jasmine was also talking about that too on Tuesday. So it's going to be really key to identify who your audience is and what you're going to sell. Notice also key resources, right? Which is number 6. This person, S.O.A.R has stock. They have a large network of stores. They have a strong logistics and supply chain. So all that really means is they have a way to control all of the inventory for their clothing and their accessories, and they have systems in place in order to make sure that those items are distributed to the stores, to the direct stores, online, and so forth and so on. So that's really, really all that's talking about. The key activities here is really about, once again, kind of tying that together, is some of the things that they do to make sure that they have a high level of output, right? That they don't run out of clothes, that they always have stuff in stock. Nothing's more frustrating as a business owner if you run out of stock, right? Or there's a long delay in getting your product to someone or service because you didn't plan well. There's a problem maybe with your distributor, and now everyone's on hold for 8 weeks waiting for a bracelet that they ordered for you, right? Or, in the case of Janaya, maybe you might be ordering. I remember I went to a Jamaican restaurant in Arizona, and I wanted curry goat, and the person said, well, we don't have any more goats. All the goats are gone for the season. And I was just kind of like, what are you talking about? And so that was that was a whole thing that I went to. Let me go back. Oh, mother of pink. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Here we go. Any questions so far? Okay, because this is more of a quick review. Going back, bear with me one second. Okay, So those were the key activities. Once again, making sure that they're not running out of any of those merchandise. And then key partners, they obviously have relationships that with other companies that that help them distribute their merchandise and their clothes and so forth and so on. And then last but not least, and Professor Jay went over this a little bit last week, but you're going to have a full class about finance, is thinking about costs, right? Because Professor Jay talked about your top line, which is revenue coming in, plus you're going to have expenses such as it says here, rent, maybe it's payroll, right? As a small business owner, for example, who is an influencer, and that's kind of what I'm focused on at the moment, I have subscriptions that I pay for every month. I have a social media person that I pay for every month. Those are costs. So if I make $100, for example, and I'm paying out $100 to, you know, those subscriptions and to my social media person, then my revenue really is zero, right? I really didn't make anything. So you really want to identify what are your costs, so forth and so on. But you're going to have a full class on this. Questions, comments, thoughts? And I can't see the screen. I'm sorry. So if there is, I'm in full screen.
There's nothing in the chat.
Perfect. Okay. This is a review. So, but I really, you're now, this is class number 4. Thank you, Professor Rosie. This is really, Toya, oh my goodness. This is really, this should really be hitting you home, right? This is the 4th class. This is the 3rd time you're seeing this stuff, but tonight is really more like, okay, because we're going to talk about the elevator pitch when we come back from a quick break. The value proposition canvas is really going to be important. And we talked about this as well. I'm not going to beat this drum too hard, but essentially is the business model, excuse me, the value proposition canvas is the difference between what you're offering and what your customer wants. So if you remember, we use pain as an example, right? And I gave you that Starbucks example where Starbucks had that big issue where they were being discriminatory towards a customer, and that was a real pain point for them because they were being sued and there was a lot of bad press and so forth and so on. And the value prop, if I was a person who did training at the time, or if I was a person that was trying to help Starbucks, would have been, hey, I want to alleviate your pain. I don't want to see this happen to your brand anymore, where your employees are engaging in discriminatory practices and behaviors. So, you know, this is really important. Why you, right? Everyone has something that they're doing. And I just want to say to you, because my daughter struggles with this, and quite frankly, I think every business owner is struggling with this now, especially if you have an online presence. You can kind of get inside your head and go, oh, everyone's doing that, right? Oh, everyone's done that. Everyone's TikToking and I saw so-and-so and I saw this reel. Who cares, right? You are unique. You have a different way of thinking. You have value. If we take Shania's example, where she said, hey, I want to take Jamaican offering Caribbean food, excuse me, and I want to maybe fuse that and offer Caribbean type of ingredients or dishes and fuse it with the cuisine to make it a more customized sort of offerings that we're offering. So we're not just going to offer jerk chicken. We're going to maybe do it in a Korean way, right? That is unique, and not a lot of people are doing that. So when you start thinking about your value prop, I want you to start thinking about what is unique to what you're doing. But rest assured, I want to tell you right now, I don't ever want you to doubt yourself, because there's only one you. There's only one you with your idea. And even if you think that there's someone else doing it, they're not going to be able to do it the way you are. because you are a unique human being put here on this earth, 2024, to go kick butt and serve and give and be a value add to this earth. And so don't ever think that someone is doing it. They're not doing it the way you are. Okay. So I'm going to stop right there. I think it's time for a stretch. Some quick questions. We'll go on a stretch break, and then we'll come right back and talk about mentor-mentee relationships, your role as a mentee, and we'll talk a little bit about your elevator pitch. But are there any thoughts or any questions right now? Okay, no worries. So let's do this. Let's take a 5-minute stretch break, grab some water. Let's come back at 7:26, and then we'll go right into mentor-mentee relationships and all the things that I just mentioned. Take 5, everybody.
So see everyone at 7:26.